What's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday, fun day, football Sunday, right? Technically. How's everyone doing on this wonderful Sunday? Hopefully you guys had a wonderful week, a wonderful weekend as we start a new week tomorrow. Always fun. Let's say hello to some people we got in here. Jeremy, Tats, Linda, how are you? Mummy TV, Auntie Audie, Templar Pops. Congratulations on the sellout of the Ecto boxes, Templar Pops. And coming up, guys, don't forget Templar Pops celebrating 2 years anniversary. Coming up, there very well could be a good mystery box coming up, maybe a Grail type mystery box, maybe some other cool boxes coming up. And when you think of Templar Pops, make sure you think and use code Luau_10 to save 10%. Totally Mitchin Collectibles, how are you? Goodyear Pops, how are you doing? Bark Foo. So tonight, guys, it is an interesting one. We are going to unbox some stuff. I'm going to talk about a Grail and how great this community can be. I'm going to talk about that. We're going to do a Pro Wrestling Crate unboxing, but 10 o'clock is the big one because we are going to be joined by Christian Braun. So if you're familiar, Christian Braun is the CEO of Hobbydb / Poppriceguide. So this is your guys' opportunity, one, to understand how Hobbydb works, how the pricing works, how things are done. It's a tremendous opportunity to talk to him. I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to have questions about how prices go and everything like that. But there's also was a podcast done by Monthly Pops and Ditto Pops. Shouts out to both of those guys, awesome ones. And big shouts out to Parker, who got the relationship with me and Christian to talk. Is check out Funner, FUN.NER, I believe is how it is. Look at any of your podcast platforms. Check it out, Apple Podcast, whatever. They did a podcast with Christian. It was out last week. Very, very knowledgeable. Not just is he tremendous with the collectibles, the collecting community, but how Hobbydb works and what Hobbydb can do. It's massive. It's not just Funko Pops. It's not just this. It's not this, that. It's how, you guys are going to be open the door to see how the pricing goes. How does it work? How are things priced? How the fluctuations happen? Who does it? How it works? All this kind of stuff is an awesome opportunity. I can't wait for Christian to come join us at 10 o'clock. Give you guys a chance to ask questions. And he's going to tell you, I'm sure, a little bit about himself, how the system works and everything like that. And the key word to always remember, and I think sometimes we lose track of this, and I do it too, is Hobbydb, Poppriceguide, the Funko app. It is a tool. It is not the holy Bible of how pricing goes. They're just as good as the information they can get, and I'm sure Christian will tell you how he gets that information. Some informations are not there anymore. You know what I mean? So I think, we always talk about it, how things fluctuate. Hobbydb is a great tool to use, and I know a lot of mystery box companies use it, and we use it as well. But remember, it is a tool. It is not the holy grail. And that's just first and foremost, when Christian comes on, we think about that. But I want to give a big shout out to Ryan. I'm not going to say Ryan's last name, but Ryan got a hold of me on Instagram this past week and said, hey, I know you're looking for a pop to go to your collection, actually to go with that guy right there. And he said, Ryan lives in Cleveland, Ohio. And he said, I have a local shop to me, and I saw it there, and it looked like it was in good condition. So I thought, if you're still looking for it. And I said, sure, I need more information, price, condition, all that good stuff. He drove back there a couple days later after getting a hold of me. We worked out a deal. The company, or the shop, which is called Sweets and Geeks, I'm assuming in Cleveland, Ohio, worked out a deal. I PayPal'd him the money. He bought it, sent it to me, and here he goes. We add and finish the Beavis and Butthead collection. So right there you see Butthead, and we add the Beavis. Tremendously hard pop to get. 2013. Not was I a huge Beavis and Butthead person. I mean, I remember him back in the 90s, but to get it in this kind of condition in 2013 and to add him and finish off the collection is really cool. And I will tell you, it's just really, there's like a really close up of him it is a tremendously well done Funko Pop, you know, from the face, just everything about it is tremendously well done. And remember, he needs TP for his bunghole. But no, really cool. Thank you, Ryan. Much appreciated. And that just goes to show you guys the beauty of community and friends and people out there that are willing to help you with collections and collectibles and to complete things. So big shout out to him. Thank you so much, Ryan. I really, truly do appreciate it. I know I sent him a box. Hopefully you like it. With that, hopefully people that came and stopped by the Whatnot auction on Tuesday had a little fun. It was a lot of fun and everything like that. So, yeah. We're going to do another one. I think we're going to do it next Tuesday. And yeah, not looking good right now. 20-17 with 1:42 to go, and it's just an interception. Jimmy Garoppolo just threw an interception, and I would say that's going to be the game. So your Super Bowl is going to be the Cincinnati Bengals against the LA Rams, and for the second year in a row, the site of the Super Bowl is going to have its home football team hosting it. So it should be a great game. You know, Kansas City Chiefs fans, I think the worst thing that happened is they didn't get points at the end of that first half, and they just died in the second. And, you know, it is what it is. You're looking at that Bengals team's on a roll, man. They are on a roll. I know the Rams are going to play at home, and you got Cooper Kupp. But, man, man, Joe Burrow, man, they're going to be good for a while. Big shouts out to them. All right. I'm going to show you something else that we pick up because, you know, we pick a lot of things up. Sometimes I show them, sometimes I don't. I got really into these this past year and you see them right there. I have like all the championship bull replicas of the Chicago Bulls championship rings. Of course, I grew up with them. We also have one here for the Boston Red Sox. Good old David Ortiz. Congratulations getting nominated into the Hall of Fame. If you like them, this company is called E-Salting. So, and I mean, here's like last year's Tampa Bay one. They do great replicas, and then, I mean, their replicas as replicas go. I mean, you know, there's the stadium, the score of the game, and a piece that comes off, just like the real ring. We have the NBA champions this year from the Milwaukee Bucks, and same thing. This comes off and becomes a pendant. So, very, very cool. E-Salting is the website if you're interested in it. They also come with neat little cases just like this. You know, it's a wood case. This is not glass, it's plastic. But like this one, celebrating the Golden State Warriors, and then comes with the championship little trophy. I thought that was really cool. So I had to get one of those. And then I wanted to get one with the Lombardi trophy, and the only one that really was decent enough to do was the Baltimore Ravens, both championships. And you know, you take it out and it's, I mean, these are metal. This is decent stuff. So E-Salting is the website if you guys are ever interested in replica championship rings. It's kind of cool. Kind of cool. All right. All right. So before we get to an unboxing, I want to say thank you to all the patrons, the channel members that support the channel with giveaways and everything like that. We hit a renewal here on February 1st. So if you are a Patreon, new items ship out to you. And if you would like to become a Patreon, make sure you check out all the videos down below. You get something from me on a monthly basis. So I know a lot of people do that. I do it. I like it. Here is a video to all of you patrons. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you. Again, thank you to all the patrons and channel members. I truly do appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, let's do an unboxing. Then we'll pick the giveaways and then Poppriceguide, Hobbydb, CEO. Telling you guys the knowledge this man has. I listened to the podcast with Monthly Pops and Ditto Pops. Funner. Remember, if you're not checking it out on all platforms, please go do that. It was just, I could have listened to it for hours. It was that good. The things you could learn tonight, guys, immense. All right, let's do a little pro wrestling crate on the eve. Actually, the last night was, of course, the Royal Rumble for you wrestling fans. The return of Rowdy Ronda Rousey, right? If you watched it, it left for me a lot to be desired. I think the best part for me was watching Ronda come back. We all knew she was coming back. I heard a lot of people like trash of what she was wearing. You know what I mean? Like fully body covered up. I think you just got to keep in mind that the woman had a baby 4 months ago. So she looked great, you know, but she wasn't going to go to, you know, like tummy shirts and all the stuff like she did before. You knew it was going to happen. She was going to come back. She was going to win. She's going to take on Becky, WrestleMania. Boom. You knew Brock Lesnar was going to be screwed by Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. It happened. He's going to come back, win the Rumble. Boom. You got that match. You know, the men's Royal Rumble left a lot for me to be desired. Really, really was not. For me, I didn't enjoy it. No big surprises. I think the women's, you brought, Mickie James, the TNA Impact champion. So you had some cool people that were in it. The women's, I thought, was a lot more interesting than the men's. My opinion. But anyway, moving on. You can get these at ProWrestlingCrate.com on a monthly basis. I forget what the this is the January crate. Spoilers on the other side, so I'll look real quick. No, I guess not. Anyway, I'm not sure what the theme was, but you get 2 shirts. They're like $34.95. There we go. Johnny Carnage, and I believe that's off of Johnny Gargano. Again, free agent, left WWE. Probably, from what I hear, will end up in AEW. So pretty cool shirt, Johnny Gargano there. How about a little Bret the Hitman Hart sticker? I like that. Very cool. We got another shirt. And guys, the shirts almost pay for themselves. There is Adam Cole, baby. Very cool what Adam Cole's doing with the Elite and his faction over at AEW. Awesome. We've got a pin of Ric Flair, the Nature Boy. Another one, guys, that is doing a YouTube podcast. I think it's on Tuesday mornings. It releases early at like 6:30 in the morning. Really, really good. If you love listening to Ric Flair, it's like an hour and a half podcast. Really, really good. I enjoy it. A Death Match King, Matt Cardona. And this, of course, is a pizza cutter from his match with Nick Gage. For those wrestling fans, I think one of the best wrestlers this year has got to be Matt Cardona. For what he has done everywhere he goes, the amount of work he's done, reinventing himself, the Major Network, the Major Guys podcast. Big shout out to him. We have a Blu-ray disc, Smokey and the Bandito. I got nothing on that one. The Micro Brawler, again, very collectible Micro Brawler. How about an IRS? Very cool. And we finish it off with an autograph. And again, guys, these boxes really, truly pay for themselves. And the autograph is going to be... I can't know if that... I wonder if that's Jay White. It kind of looks like him, but might be not. I don't know. I have to look at this one. Let's see. What do we got? Tony Nese is the autograph, not Jay Lethal. Or, not Jay Lethal. You know who I'm talking about. Jay White. Yeah, Jay White. Johnny Gargano t-shirt. Adam Cole t-shirt. IRS. 250 Chase variants were included. We did not get one of those. Pro Wrestling Gorilla Blu-ray. The Tony Nese 8x10. The Ric Flair lapel pen. 100 of those were Chase variants. I think we got the regular one. Matt Cardona pizza cutter and Bret Hart sticker. So really cool. I like that. Pretty cool. I don't think this was the I don't think that was the chase pin. I would probably say chase on that, I would think. All right. So that's sits over there. All right. Let's see. Let me share this, guys, just so you guys can see Hobbydb before we get to giveaways. Here is the website. And again, you want to think of Hobbydb, I know we all love it for the Funko Pops, right? And that's one of their big things. Funkos, Matchboxes, Hard Rack Cafe pins, I believe. But this is really a place, guys, that you want to build your collection. And when I say that, you list your items. It does not have to be just Funko Pops or anything like that. It can be literally anything in your collection. You build it. You can sell it on the platform. It's just totally immense. And the people that keep track of this are volunteers and part of the squad, as they call it. And you guys are going to get to learn more about that. But again, this is an immense database for collectors, by collectors, and yes, I know we all look at what Pop Price Guide is. We view it as a price guide, and it is, but it's, you know, it's not everything. You know, it's not the Holy Grail and all that good stuff. So, yeah, just you guys got to keep that in mind. Mr. TechBot, how are you? Also, guys, future guests coming up. We have next week, and we have a Super Bowl show that's going to run early. So next week we have Martin's Pops going to join us, and then on the 13th, which is Super Bowl Sunday, we will come to you at an earlier time frame, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time, where we will have a special guest at 4 p.m. Eastern till 5, Wayne Tech. I am really looking forward to him. I've tried to get him but because of his work schedule, it was hard to get him on a Sunday night, and it just worked out. Super Bowl Sunday, I always go early. It works in Wayne's schedule to come join us. Another one, guys, that they put on a show, Mr. TechBot and Wayne Co., they put on a YouTube live show now on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. They talk about Funko and collectibles. They also have a segment with JKL Awesome where they talk about the Book of Boba. And if you watched the Book of Boba this past week, phenomenal. Awesome. I think it's the lead-in to Season 3 of Mandalorian. I thought it was awesome. I think you're going to, only 2 more episodes of Book of Boba left. And then, I think we're going to get, I still say we don't get Mando until fall. That's just my gut feeling. October, November is when I believe we will get Mando. And I hope we get another season of Book of Boba. We're going to get the Obi-Wan, which is only, I heard, a 4-part miniseries, just 4. So another one. And guys, if you love TV shows and have not watched Ozark yet or caught up on season 4, part 1 of Ozark, another phenomenal TV show. There it is, Tuesday nights, 8 p.m., the Wayne Tech experience. Don't miss it. All right, let's pick some giveaway winners. Are we ready? Here we go. All right, let's get the comments. We got it. All right, here we go. This week we have prize wheel, head-to-head, $30 PayPal credit, soda mystery box, pop mystery box, or a pop culture mystery box. So anything sort of pop culture related. We got our comments. Let's pick our winners. All right, Candyman RIP. Congratulations. Candyman RIP. Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. Weekly giveaway video, road to 5K. Much appreciated, Candyman. Winner number 1. And winner number 2 is going to be Miss Sarah Aldridge. Sarah, congratulations. And guys, get a hold of me. I always do it in pop drunk stat fashion. Get a hold of me at Instagram at _Luau_23. And we'll remove that. And we'll get rid of that. Let's see. So we did that. My pleasure. Also, guys, if you want to know more about Disney and see some Disney vlogs. Mr. Techbot is Mr. Disney. So if you want to see some behind the scenes hotels, items, again, it's celebrating 50 years of Disney World, so there's so many different collectibles there. If you're a fig pin fan, 2 very exclusive fig pins are going to be released at Disney parks only. One Figment, and who's the other one? The Orange Bird. So 2 fig pins only at Disney parks if you love the fig pins. Those are coming up. Mr. Techbot does some awesome Disney videos. Check him out. Popping some pops. Keep it popping. Keep it rocking. And remember, guys, in only a few minutes, we will be joined by the CEO, Christian Braun of Hobbydb/Poppriceguide. So if you have questions, I'm going to start Christian off by having him tell you a little bit about himself, tell you a little bit about Hobbydb, get into how it works, and then we will open it up that you guys can ask questions. So because I'm sure everyone has questions. How does it work? How does pricing work? How do you deal with fakes? And how fluctuations in the market, where do you get the prices, the information, all the stuff will be answered tonight. Yes. And what else do we have? We have, what videos do you have through the week? So mystery box was released, kitchen sink mystery box from Smile World tonight. If anyone was able to hop in and get one of those boxes are always great. I know Grown Kids TV loves to open them up. Oh, let us see. Not that one. Not that one. So we have very cool OC Celebrity Marketing. I love OC Celebrity Marketing. Autograph mystery box, Christmas edition. And it was a chase box that was pulled from OC Celebrity Marketing. That will be tomorrow. And then Tuesday, we have a $333 Spastic Collectibles Black Friday overvalued mystery box coming at you on Tuesday. And I'm not sure what Wednesday's video is because this doesn't put it in order for me. Thursday videos will be a Templar Pops mystery box, Glow in the Flocking Dark. Fun one then. And we have my dates are all screwed up on this thing. I don't know why. Anyway, videos throughout the week. I think there's I forget what Wednesday is, but yes, some cool stuff. Thank you, Cliff. Much appreciated. Shane. And then anyway, 5 minutes left, guys, before we get joined by Christian. If you guys have anything you would like to ask, the floor is yours. Any questions or things like that? Again, big shout out to the Cincinnati Bengals fans and the Cincinnati Bengals and the LA Rams. For the second year in a row, the site of the Super Bowl is going to have its home football team hosting. So pretty cool. Last, Ketchum, how are you doing? Mama J, how are you? And again, guys, Poppriceguide, Hobbydb, CEO is going to join us. And really big shouts out to Monthly Pops for the connection on that one. And if you guys want, make sure you go to all your podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, whatever you want to go to, and make sure you look at the Funner podcast. It normally comes out on Wednesday. It's fun.ner, the Collecting and Pop Culture podcast. Check it out. It is done by Parker at Monthly Pops and Ditto Pops. It's a really good, really good show. So you definitely want to check it out. Awesome, Sarah. Awesome. All is well. Yes. Other than that, guys, not much else in the collecting world, I mean, some stuff here, some stuff there. I wouldn't say slow in the mystery. I know Pop King Paul did a 100-box hit or miss looking for a Tom Holland autograph Funko Pop. I think it was like $30 boxes on Whatnot. Great video by Franchise Kicks. Clint did an awesome when collections could go bad. Great video that came out on Friday. If you've never checked that out, please go do it. It's very, very cool of a collection that he bought, how that works, and collection that went bad. It went bad. So definitely check that out. All right. Goodbye, good one, Travis. I'm not sure. Basically, I know, and I haven't done it, but you basically can load and create your entire collection with Hobbydb, meaning anything that's a collectible you can put on there. And sometimes it's photos, sometimes it's QR codes are done, barcodes are in their database. Their database is immense and totally growing every single day. And it's maintained all by volunteers. And you guys, anyone could join Hobbydb and be a volunteer, a member of what they call the squad. And I know Christian can better explain that to you guys, how the squad works and everything like that. But you can join and be part. And, it's all broken up how it works. It's very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Awesome, Sarah. Yes, keep me abreast of the change of address. Yes. All right, and we should be joined momentarily. But yes, guys, any questions you have, we will do our best to have them answered. And like I said, I'm going to give Christian an opportunity to talk a little bit more about himself and about the company and everything like that before we do the questions, because what you're going to learn a lot just by some of the things he's going to teach you. All right, are we ready? Here we go. I bring you Christian Braun, CEO of Hobbydb. Christian,
Hi,
how are you?
Excellent, thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you for joining me.
Anytime.
So I was telling people, I mean, big shouts out to Parker. I listened to the podcast this past week, and I was just immensely, I mean, I was like, Parker, I could have listened to you talk probably for a couple hours.
Oh, thanks.
It was so interesting. So for everyone here in the chat and that'll watch this video back and everything like that, you're going to deal with a lot of people that are in that Funko realm. That's sort of what we focus on. And I think a lot of people view Hobbydb as sort of like the gospel, which, I mean, we need a place to go for prices, but, it's not, I think Parker said it best. You guys are one of the best tools that mystery box companies and companies use to help gauge what a collectible is. But I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm going to let you tell a little bit about yourself, the history, and then we can get into a little bit of Hobbydb.
Wow. Okay. Well, where do I start? I've been collecting one-off since more than 40 years now. Initially toy soldiers and then robots, and I'm collecting Lego with my son. I collect science fiction toys from the 30s and 50s. There's a few behind there. I got a bunch of pops. I have lots of Lego sets, really anything. And I never really liked the fact that Wikipedia doesn't allow you to document stuff that I care about. I've added a few things and they were taken out as what they call non-notable. So I wanted to create a site that has every collectible ever made that you can use to research. Think of it as an initial extended Wikipedia, where you can find out what exists, who made it, how many there were, what it's worth. You can add it to your collection, you can add it to your wish list, you can show it, you can buy and sell it, and you can trade it. That's something that's coming. Just the place for your collection, your online museum, if you like.
Yep. And that's what, I mean, and you guys basically, what Matchbox, I think, is what started, right? And then...
Yeah, so we do two things. People can join and add items to the database. if they want to join what we call the squad. There's about 2,000 volunteers that build Hobbydb, and PPG is a subsegment of that. And then we also give home to websites that would otherwise not be there anymore. So, and there was a Hot Wheels website. The guy who ran it had built it for 16 years. He had a heart attack. He was worried about losing the data. He contacted us and we said, yeah, we'd love to have it. So we brought it in. It's about 25,000 Hot Wheels now. We've got about 50,000. We've had 2 German guys that run a video game database, and they've worked on it for 10 years, and then they got married, and their wives didn't like that they spent all the time on the database. So the database had to go, and we got it. We just added 4,000 Valiant comics. There's a guy who runs Toy Collector app who recently joined us. He has about 130,000 action figures. And it's just great to give that a new home.
That's awesome, because I think some people don't realize Hobbydb is a way to really house your collection, sell your collection, trading coming soon. And it's not just Funko Pops and Matchboxes, and it's like everything.
In fact, Poppriceguide joined us in the same kind of John, who created Poppriceguide, similar idea, just doing Funko, also volunteer base. He ran into technical issues. The site went down quite often. It's not easy to run a big website. We have our own problems sometimes. Anyway, he ran into a big problem. The site was down for a week. We had talked before. He reached out and said, hey, can you help me get this back up again? We did. And then he joined the team. He worked with us for 2 years, and now he's out of collecting. But basically, PPG now is a sub-segment of Hobbydb, and it just shows you Funko items.
Yep.
In fact, it's very configurable. We had a debate about adding customs. Funko customs can be added to Hobbydb, but we don't add them to PPG because the community there didn't want it. While prototypes, we do add. And recently we've now 2,500 autographed items. That seems to be the thing that has just been exploding in the last 2 years. Everybody has autographed items. So we started adding them into the system.
Yeah, and I know Parker, he's worked, a couple of his customs are up on the site and shown. I know we're getting to see a lot of like the autographed $7 a pop type items that are hitting there, so people can see those.
Yeah, we have every single one. So Lee is adding them himself, and as is Parker, which is where we want to get to. The idea is, if you make customs or make autographed items, or effectively Funko or any manufacturer, you should also have a Hobbydb account and manage your items there so that people can see them.
And I think that'll bring us to a good point: is who manages, the Hobbydb database? I'm sure people want to know price. How does price work? How does that work?
Okay. There's 2 questions there. So the way the data gets added to the site is it took us a while in some iterations. Like Wikipedia, they had their issues. We now have what we call the squad. The squad is 5 levels. You can join as a contributor, which allows you to add photos and UPC codes and prices. And then you work your way up to creator, curator. We have these titles for that until you eventually become a coordinator. And the coordinator, or 2 or 3 of them, are responsible for a certain area. So, for example, extreme example is Hard Rock Cafe. We took over their pin database. There's about 120 volunteers, and they have a small number of people that are coordinating that. They get new people in, and it's totally autark. They just add Hard Rock Cafe pins. We have 100,000 of those, 100,000 different ones, and they just manage that. Same with Funko. There's a small, sizable group of people. One you can see on our PPG homepage at the moment, Javier, who kind of manage that group, and we get new people to come and join in and then work their way up through the hierarchy. And the reason why we do that is we've come up with rules on how to add an autographed item, how to add a custom, what is a valid price point, what's not a valid price point, how do you add those. We now add price points from eBay, our own marketplace, various auction houses, price guides, and we have what we call the retail price. The retail price is what every price should start at. Say it's $10. So it starts at that, and then it's moving up or down or whatever it goes from there. So that's how we organized. You also had a question about pricing.
People will always ask, and I know we always talk about, I always get the questions is, how is in Hobbydb, how is the price determined for, say, a Funko Pop? You know,
Yes.
how does the squad do it?
Okay, so generally we like price points that can be verified. What I mean by that is you can go to somewhere else, there's a URL or an image that shows you that this really happened. That excludes Facebook prices and Mercari prices because they don't give us that ability. We cannot go in and check if a Facebook transaction really happened. We have two issues. How do we do a price, and then how do we make sure that it's not get manipulated? So how do we get price points? Well, from sites that allow us to link to it. Pristine Auctions is a great example for signed autograph pops. We can add those and link to the original sale so that you can check if you wanted to. Items should be in near mint or better condition. Unless it's a very, very rare run and the price is above what we currently have. But generally, got to be near mint so you can add it to the price guide. And then we need to make sure that the transaction did happen. And that's an interesting one. We now have an internal audit team that checks both these price points and also the volunteers that add them. We've had on a number of occasions people coming in trying to manipulate prices of certain pops, only take certain price points in from eBay, say, and not others, to further their game. In fact, we had some people coming in selling stuff on eBay to each other, to a group of people. There were 3 or 4 of them involved, and then being volunteers and adding them to Poppriceguide, and then later when the price is up sufficiently, offloading them now with a valid price. So we got to watch that, and that's relatively unique to Funko and maybe Hasbro, Black Series, Star Wars, and a few other things.
And here's a good one, because I think this is Templar asking the question: is there any plan to add Whatnot sold? Because Whatnot is been
I'm very familiar with the Whatnot guys. We love to add any price. So you mentioned $7 a pop. Lee has offered us his prices. We think it's trusted, so we'll take that in. We're working technically on how to take his prices in.
Yep.
Whatnot has not offered. I've asked. They haven't offered this to us in the past. We'd like to take pricing in from any source. The more pricing, the better.
And I think a good thing for the chat and for you guys to realize, for them to do it, guys, they have to have the access to it. So if a company wasn't grant them that access, or like eBay where they could go search, it's hard to do that because, like you said, Christian, you want that confirmed sale, that confirmed price of what it sold for.
Yes, and so I saw there's a question on. There's a few questions actually there. Well, there's a question on how do we verify an eBay transaction. So there's a number of steps. One of the squad member adds it, so they thought it was a valid price point. And you can do certain things. You can click on and seeing if it has been relisted. You can look at the information on the listing itself, if it's near mint condition or not. So you can do all that kind of stuff. Then we have flags. Anybody can flag an item and it gets reviewed. And it will tell you if a price point is currently in review or have been reviewed. We get maybe 50 of those a day for Funko items. So there's quite a bit of that. A lot of people, flag items, often with good information, saying, hey, look at the third image, do this, do that, So that's very helpful. And then we have our internal audit team that looks at volunteers and price points.
And another thing that, I know I heard it on Parker's stream, if you take members, if you want to become part of the squad, there is a way that you can join and help Hobbydb, guys. It's on a voluntary basis, but if you guys want to join and be a part of the squad, I mean, Christian, you said that there's a contact link on the homepage, correct?
Yeah, there's a little eye in the top right that gets you to our help page, knowledge base. That's where all the rules are, etc., etc. And there's a green button there that you can press to contact us and saying, hey, I'd like to join. We'd love to have you. So
you guys, I mean, you can help out. And for people that always want the Whatnot, you guys got to remember, get on them or message the Whatnot guys. If you want that to be part of Hobbydb, they have to grant that access. So far, they have not done that. So here's a couple questions we've had here. This is Ryan, who lives over in the UK, asking will there be an option to change the currency that's shown?
Yes, we'd love to do that. In fact, in collection management, you can add your currency already now, but the total and so on and so forth are in dollars. It's on our list. In fact, if you go to the knowledge base, same little button I in the top right, you can see our roadmap. That's all the stuff that we want to do. It's called Features Yet to Come. And that's a long, long list. It's about actually, there are 507 items I looked at last time that we want to do. Something from a small bug fix to something big like multi-currencies.
Yeah.
And on the squad, I'd like to stress that when I built this, I wanted it to be, a database of every collectible that you can only see what you want to see. So you can basically say, I like Funko, maybe I like Kid Robot, and maybe I like the first 3 Star Wars movies or something. And then that's your context, and that's what you get to see. I also wanted it to be something that is owned by the community. And we started that a year and a half, 2 years ago, where we opened up the capital of the company, and we just doing our 3rd crowdfunding. So we have 2,000 volunteers, and 1,100 of them are owners of the company. In fact, both Parker and Lee are shareholders. So I work for them.
So there you go, guys. That's awesome. And then I think, Cliff, I think Christian alluded to this. How do you weed out fraudulent sales, especially on eBay? And I would guess, Christian, basically it's something would be flagged, and it's the collaborative of the group.
Well, there's a whole number of filters. So we did try. We had a bot, it was called Marcus, and we automatically applied prices. And we tried that, in the background as a test, and it's just for Funko, it's just not accurate enough. It works for example, for brickheads. Brickheads are much easier. There's no subvariants, there's no stickers, there's almost no fakes. They're almost always in mint condition. There's one name and one number. Like you can have a Batman Funko cast that came in 30 colors. And then you got all the sub variations, what we call sub variations, different stickers, autographed items, and so on and so forth. So it's a multi-phase approach. It's done by a human. It gets added to its item, and then it can get reviewed by anybody who looks at the page. There's a little red flag next to each price point. You got the estimated value, then you got the chart, and then you got the price points below. So you can look at every one of them and flag them. And somebody else and another human will look at that and make a decision on, we get about 50 flags. I would say they're half-half, but half of them are correct and half of them are not. And so the correct ones we do apply, and there's 2 ways. There's either the item is not mint enough, or there's a fake, or there's a bad seller. We have a bad seller list, about 200 people on there that we don't take. Or it's a different sub variation. There's a different sticker on it or so. And then it either gets moved to the right item or it gets removed. And then we rerun the pricing.
Yep. That's awesome. And guys, just playing on the Hobbydb site, guys, you name it, it's on there. You can find anything from hot toys to the autographs to pops. It's like your whole collection, and it's right there, and you can build it. And I know I heard Ditto Pop say he's slowly but surely building up his whole collection, so you guys can go in there and see everything you have in collectibles, and it's fabulous. And you can sell too. And I think people maybe not know that on the platform.
Yeah, absolutely. And quick reply to Nick Bayer. If you want to send us a message about your Marvel Legend that we don't have, we'll add it. And if you want to join, you can do it yourself.
There you go, Nick. You could be part of the squad.
Exactly.
And Christian, I know you were, a big collector. Not just that. I've read that a pretty big eBay. You did a lot of work in eBay as well.
Yeah, I always liked collecting. as I said earlier, it started when I was 6 years old. My brother and I did a deal. He was much older. He got the cars. I got the toy soldiers and figures. I was happy with it. He was happy with it. He has 50,000 cars now. He's written about 25 books on model cars. So for him, that was a great choice. I then got out collecting, sold them, and then bought them back, and then built a business around it. I financed my studies with trading collectibles. I like temporary ownership. I like beautiful items. I like to own them for a while, and then I move on because I like something else. So I've always been in the space, and same with the eBay business. We had shops on the high street. People could bring us items, and we'd then sell them on their behalf. We did some actually in-room auctions. I hold various records for most expensive teddy bears and stuff like that. So I've always liked that part. And I always wanted to have one place where I can find everything. And the other thing that I notice is there are lots of good websites that emerge and then disappear. And that means that we're losing information. The fact PPG probably would have disappeared. John just couldn't handle it. It was becoming technically too difficult. And it may not be there anymore. So, I wanted to build a site that eventually has 100,000 volunteers, is owned by 100,000 collectors, where new ones can come in and join the team and own some shares, and then when they stop collecting, they can sell them again to somebody else who's coming in new. That has everything. We have a tagline. If you go to the Hobbydb homepage, at the bottom right, it says over 100 billion collectibles. Eventually, it will take a while, but we'll get there. Just to show you, this is one of various boxes of what we call data donations, where somebody sends us, their work. Well, let's see. So, this guy built a database of Matchbox, and you just send it in saying, "Hey, can you use it?" And yes, we can. It just will take a while. We're sitting on 10 million of these items. We have companies that sending us their stuff. There's individuals who send us their stuff.
Wow,
which is nice.
That's something. And it's like you're going to be the home for it all, which is really cool. I know you said that you see these books and this information that maybe was a website and curated, and then it's gone. It's gone. There's no way to salvage it, and you're bringing it sort of in house.
Yes, that's right. In fact, I at one point of time I called a prison in Mexico because there was a guy who owned a Playmobil website, and he had to go to prison for whatever reason. I never really figured it out. And the hosting ran out, and the hosting provider didn't want to talk to anybody but this guy. So we tried to get him to agree that we could pay for the hosting cost of it, so that we can take over. It didn't work out, and that site died, and that information is gone. Where we want to go with this is, at one point of time, maybe late next year, maybe early 23, I want you to be able to set your own context. So, and what do you like? You obviously collect Funko. Anything else?
Well, Hot Toys. I know I've been finding Hot Toys on the site. They're in the database. And actually, I really just like perusing it to see all the different collectibles that are on there. And it's just to see some of the stuff that, you're sometimes never see in person. Here's a photo on Hobbydb, and I think it's just it's really cool just doing that.
So the idea is that you can then say, okay, I like Hot Toys, I like Funko. Maybe you have a favorite car, maybe you have a basketball team or something else. You can set your context, and then that's what you get to see. So that it doesn't matter that we have 100,000 Hard Rock Cafe pins. If you're not interested in those, you don't have to see those. There would be 250,000 Disney pins, 100,000 Coca-Cola pins, 100,000 Olympic pins. Yep. If you're not interested in those, that's okay. You don't see those.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And here we got Nick asking, if you have a Poppriceguide account, is it the same as a Hobbydb account? Or do
yes, it is. In fact, the whole website is the same. If you look at a page, at the very top where it says Poppriceguide in the URL, if you're on the desktop, and you change it over to Hobbydb, you're on Hobbydb, and vice versa. So you can go back. It's the same thing. So if you just collect Funko, Poppriceguide is your place. If you click on other stuff, you can go to Hobbydb. It really does, and you can go back and forth. I mean, so for example, let's say you had 500 pops, and you've got 5 or 10 customs. Because the PPG community didn't want to have those, we don't have them on PPG. But you can go to Hobbydb with the same account, add them to your collection, they will show up in PPG.
That's
and
awesome.
if you have a bunch of hot toys, you can add them to your collection, and then they show in PPG.
Yep, that's neat. And another one, Anthony asking, current issues with like things that are vaulted and now being re-released, do they get separate listings based on production timeframes?
Okay, so this is something we have a Facebook group for the squad where we have these kinds of discussions. And you may have noticed, for example, that for the Star Wars figures, about a year and a half ago, we started splitting them off. If you're new to the hobby, the Funko Star Wars figures came out with a blue box, and in pretty big writing it said Boba Fett. It was English only. And then they did the same box. The font became smaller because they now did it in French, English, and Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
Mexican, Canada. And then they reissued those boxes in black. So we've got, about a year and a half ago, we started splitting them up because people wanted that. And also because there's price difference. Like the Boba Fett, if you check that, the single language blue version is about 5 times more valuable than the black one.
Yep.
So, if the vaulted are different, if there is something that you can tell makes it different, it becomes a subvariant. And the nice thing about subvariants, I think, is take the red chrome Funko Batman. I think it was a New York Comic Con special or so. There's about 15 colors of that. You can see them all in the variant page. And then if you wanted to see sticker variations or packaging variations, you can zoom in. Those we call subvariants, and then see them that way. So if the vaulted one is different, it would probably be a subvariant.
Yep. And I know I've seen the one that sticks out for me. There was an Ahsoka that was a hot topic, and I have seen on your guys' site it does differentiate a new one and an old one by date code too. So
yes,
it's coming.
We can do it. It's a discussion we have. I mean, for example, we found 2 items that have different UPCs. Otherwise, they're the same. 2 Funko products was 2 which is unusual because the company normally has to pay for a UPC because money. So we're like, what do we do here? We have an alternative UPC field. UPCs are important because that's how the app works. You can scan them in and then get them. But we felt that wasn't big enough a difference. So we didn't separate those out. It's the same item, but it says there's 2 UPCs for that. If the community felt strong about it, we can split them out.
Nope. And Mummy TV asking, I'm assuming he's asking statues in the future. And there's statues there now.
We have statues.
Yep.
I mean, we have socks. I mean, if you go to PPG or Hobbydb and click in data, search the database and just do an empty database search, shows you everything we have. You'll see on the left hand side all kinds of stuff like Christmas decoration.
Yeah.
Lamps. They made a series of lamps at one point of time. We have those too.
Telling you guys to go on Hobbydb. It is it's a treasure trove of things you could find. And here's one. This is an interesting, and I've heard so much about this Funko Pop. The bank robber Joker changing value every 6 hours. Is there an entire team for that pop?
Yeah, we do sometimes fight not really edit wars. There were certain cases where people have added a particular prop onto eBay. Now, my assumption is that they have a few of them, sell them to a small circle of friends. They get paid or not paid. It doesn't really matter because it's all premeditated and agreed. Brings up the price, and then we have to fight that basically. So some of these get it into the system, and then we have to remove them again, which is an unfortunate fact that there's just so much money to be made in Funko products.
Yep.
And I mean, you can obviously watch that item over time. But yeah, it's definitely an issue that we have.
And I know I hear
25 packs a day, so 25 items get changed.
Wow.
post the fact.
And Augie asking like status like condition. And I'm assuming what he's asking is sort of like when the squad makes determinations on value on a final sale, do they take into account if something sells for a damaged price? Like if the item's damaged?
Okay, so there's two questions there that I see. One is we do want to show values of items that maybe not near mint or that are loose. I think we'll probably start with loose. So if you're a loose collector, you also get to see what that item is worth. That's one plan. The question that you ask is more about how do we look at the condition of the item. Yep. Well, you look at the eBay listing and just see what's in the description and the text. And to me, what's important is the intention. So let's say Tom is selling the bank robber, and he says it's mint and it looks mint, and somebody pays the mint price for that. That is a good estimation of value at that point of time. Let's say it now gets shipped out and USPS makes a mistake and it gets destroyed and the transaction gets reversed. That almost doesn't matter. The intention was there at the time, or it was misdescribed and the back is totally dented. Well, then that item is not worth $300, but the buyer was going to pay that $300 at the time. So to me, that's still a good expression of value at that point of time. You had a willing buyer that was paying $300 for that item, thinking it was mint. So two things here. We'll add more price points. Loose is probably the next one to come. And the other one is how do you look at these values? The issue there is more, what do you do when you have, what was that? There's a Clockwork Orange pop. There's only 12 of them. One is signed by Brian, the other one is not. But there's only 12, and they trade very, very seldom. What do you do if one of those items is not in total mint condition?
Yeah.
And particularly if let's say we listed it for $6,000 value, and now a non-mint item sells for $8,000. Normally we wouldn't take that price, but in this case we have a discussion about it, and we probably will, because obviously you have an old price point, $6,000 mint, and now you have an $8,000 sale that's not mint. It's definitely worth more than $6,000.
Yep.
So we'll take that. We can even add price points. What we want is the proof that it happened. I think Cletus Selden bought one of those.
Yes.
At SDCC, and he made a YouTube video on it. And we added that price point and used the YouTube video.
Mm-hmm.
We thought it was a good enough price point. It's obviously there's no publicity. It seemed to have happened, so it's a good price point. We want that.
Yep. And Goodyear Pop saying he would love that job. Goodyear, if you would like to be part of the squad, Christian said how you can do it. You can be part of the squad to help out with this stuff.
Join that. I mean, we value our squad members a lot. In fact, it's a small team. There's about 8 people here at Hobbydb Poppriceguide, and I'm a little bit unpopular because I always say we're the janitors. We're the guys that have to make sure that it works, the site is up and running. Sometimes struggle with that. That the technology is there, that we add new features when people want that. We've added an autograph filter, so you can now find, any item that's been signed by Denzel Washington, if that's what you want. So we're responsible for the technology and that everything works. We, as a team, all of us do collect, but we don't know everything. In fact, every one of us tends to have its small little area of expertise. We need the squad members.
And here, Nick asking, is there a G.I. Joe section with figures and vehicles?
Yes, there is. In fact, there's a guy called Zachary Fisher who joined us, Zach, and he's a pop collector too. But he built the Toy Collector app, which is a 10-year-old app that had 130,000 action figures. And he loved what we were doing, and he's bringing it all over. So
wow.
We've got about 4,000 or 5,000 G.I. Joe items now. And we'll probably need another 3,000 or 4,000, maybe more. It's always interesting how much stuff is out there. Last year, we added more than 6,000 Funko products.
That's insane. Mummy asking, and I can't remember looking on this. on the listing of pops, does it say vaulted and available?
No, but what we have is we have a release date and an end date, a discontinue date. So if it's discontinued, it's vaulted. Particularly since, I mean, vaulted was always only a Funko term, and then secondly, it doesn't seem that they really adhere to it anymore.
No, they can. Yeah, they.
So to me, discontinued date told you that this is out of program. If it comes back in again, we can either increase that range or create a subvariant if that new item is somewhat different, and it can also be described in the description.
And here we have Angela asking, can we submit requests for figures, statues that aren't found on the site?
Yes, you can, Angela. You can do that. If you click on the little eye in the top right, it gets you to our help knowledge base. There's a green button there that says contact Hobbydb. You can do that, send us an image, and we'll add it in. Or you can join the squad and do it yourself.
There you go, Angela. Angela was talking about an SDCC gold Harley Quinn. Very cool.
Yes, we'd love to have that one.
And here we go. Cliff signed into his account and searched for autograph pops, but it listed autograph. Okay. It's all in there, Cliff. You'll find it, I'm sure. Here, Goodyear Pop's saying all you guys need to do is add a tab with all variants of condition.
Yeah, it's not that easy. I mean, because what you have is you have the item and the package, so you can have the item in mint or the package in mint. Funny enough, actually, with Funko Pops, the item is always in mint condition. It's the packaging that's the problem. But you need to accrue for all of those different scenarios, right? You got no box, you got the box that has dents, you have the item that has a damage.
Here, this is a good one. Nick asking if there's some pops that are super low numbers, rarely sells, but does it reflect the current value? How does one go about changing that?
Yeah, we talked about that quite a bit. If there's no actual transactions, then we can't really do much. Besides, there's one attempt of what we call nudging. Nudging is where you got your actual transactions. So let's say we talked about the Clockwork Orange one before. I think that's a 13,000 at the moment. Yep. So let's just assume that you believe it's worth more than that. Then you can nudge it up, and it will add your name to it and a plus. And it goes up a little bit, and then somebody else can bring it down, and we'll show who does that. But it's not the same as a transaction. So it's a sentiment that you can take into account. Then basically, if the last transaction was 4 years ago, that may be interesting. If the community overall thinks it's worth more than that, you can take that into account. It still doesn't mean it's necessarily worth more than that. That's just a problem with something that's done. I mean, take the prototypes. They seem to make 3 or 4 of them, or up to 6, but often there's only 1 or 2 out there. How do you price those? That's hard. What you can do is look at other prototypes. And the one thing I would love to do is for you to be able to say, okay, show me every Batman Funko item against this, to see if Batman Funko is going up or down. And then you can say only pops between 2005 and 2010, because that's kind of the range that my pop is in. So we'll try to give you as much information as we have, that you can make your own judgment. But if it's a small run and there was no transaction recently, we can't really do much.
That's a good one. And has there ever been, obviously, we all talk Whatnot, and Whatnot's huge. Is there any companies that you're surprised wouldn't want to work with? I mean, it just surprises me that Whatnot wouldn't open the doors to you guys and say, here you go.
Well, I mean, eBay is difficult. eBay has become much harder to get pricing from. Mercari doesn't really share the data, neither does Facebook. We always trying to get more price points. Particularly with heritage auctions, it's not so much pop, but that's about 6 million price points that we'll get from them. We're working with Pristine Auctions now. They do a lot of autographed pops, which is great. Lee is going to offer us, his pricing, which is nice, because they sell some high value pops as well that are rare.
Yep.
So any price ideas, talk to us. We'd love to get more data in.
Yep. And Hoggy's saying they are slightly different search queries on Hobbydb and Popprice.
Yeah. The only difference is the homepage and then the context. So if you're on PPG, you will only see items that are made by Funko. And Hobbydb will give you everything else, including customs that are made that are based on a Funko product.
Yep. And Nick chiming in, how difficult is it to weed out fake Funko Pop sales?
Well, we work on that every day. It's hard because people try to cheat the system in all kinds of different ways. We recently brought in what we call the fake image, the fake photo. So we're hoping to get more information on that, how to identify a fake. That's going to be part of the gallery. Every pop, you can click on the top left. There's a gallery. There's going to be a fake section. We'll probably show it separately on the page too. We talk about that in our internal group. We've identified about 200 account eBay accounts that we think belong to fakers. It's an ongoing, constant battle where they get better and we get better.
Yep. But I think that's awesome that you're taking eBay sellers that, because if they sell pop 1 or 2, they're going to continue to do it, and it's just their thing. And I think that's awesome that you guys do that. That's awesome.
Yeah, the big issue is that a lot of people use eBay to then manipulate prices for other marketplaces. You have 3 or 4 friends or fake accounts. You sell to each other on eBay. You do it for a month or 2, so it looks natural, and suddenly that $60 pop is worth $400. You bunker like 20 of them in the meantime. Now you sell them on Facebook and Mercari. We see that becoming more of a theme, and we created a special team of volunteers. There's 5 of them. They're fantastic, and they spend a lot of hours losing through this and saying, "Look, here's clear pattern. We know how this works, and then we don't take these price points and block these sellers."
That's awesome. And I guess, and I don't know how it works. How does selling on Hobbydb work, Christian?
Oh, very simple. You have an item that you don't want anymore, and you can mark it as an item for sale. We operate on a token system. So you buy tokens that allow you to list an item. $100 item is about $2. So you list it, and then if somebody buys it, they pay you directly into your account. And we've done it that we have best offer only, and we've got request shipping. So if you had 50 pops you don't want, you can just put them all up there as best offer, request shipping. You don't have to think of any of that. And then somebody approaches you from Canada or Ohio or wherever they want to buy it, then you can think about how much you want for them.
That's awesome. And here's one, Nick asking, sometimes he shares his Poppriceguide wish list with non-Poppriceguide users and they can't see them. Is that going to change?
Yes, Nick. We have 2 wish lists. There's your internal one. So you've got the showcase. That's external facing. That's what you should share. And there's a wish list there, and you can share that, and it will work. And then there's your internal one, which is my collection and my wish list, just for you. That's basically where you're saying where you can put private notes in, where you can mark an item for sale, where you can do where you can put a storage location in, whatever you want to do. Think of that as your own museum management software. The stuff you want, the stuff you own. That's how you manage that. The showcase is what you share with the world. So you can go to your showcase and you can create lists like Batman, Robin, and stuff like that, and that's where you can also share your wish list. And if you filter your showcase and you send that URL to somebody, they will see exactly what you see.
Wow.
Questions, you can always reach out to us. Again, it's a little I and then the green button. Or you can just check the knowledge base. There's about 200 articles on how to do stuff on PPG and Hobbydb.
And guys, remember, if you want to be part of the squad and help Christian and help Hobbydb with pricing and stuff like that, you can join the squad. Just hit that little icon and say you'd like to join the squad.
Yeah. And actually, we just added Supreme. We're adding a lot of Supreme stuff,
wow.
cool stuff. So you will be able to manage that there too.
That's cool. That's unbelievable. I mean, you guys have really come to be sort of like the one-stop shop that has it all.
That's always been the idea.
And I know you talking about, how about you as a collector now? So you said you do a lot of Legos with the kids. Is there anything else that is big on your collection radar?
Yeah, I like, I spend so much time on the computer. I'd love to go into antique malls and look for stuff, or antique or toy fairs or anything like that. And I like to I collect stuff that there's no documentation on yet. So you can see those children puzzles there.
Mm-hmm.
I like 1930s and 50s sci-fi stuff. I like the illustration, I like the box art. I like tin plate robots. I just can't afford them. Japanese tin plate robots from the 50s. We just did a blog post on this guy who makes robots. He's an 80-year-old Japanese guy. It's on the Hobbydb blog. And he makes these robots in the spirit and the style of the 50s, and they're fantastic. Love to buy one of those. Just can't afford it.
All right, we got another question. Cliff asking, how long do tokens last? If a pop is listed, how long does that listing last before you have to buy more tokens?
Absolutely. 6 months, and then you can renew it at a fifth of that price. So if the item, the first item, I think $100 item is $3. I think I got that wrong, unless you get a discount on something. So it's $3, and then the next 6 months is 20% of that.
Oh, there you go. And Augie saying he apologizes for 30% of the Funko community that gave you guys stuff. You overhauled the system and did not take time to play with it and realize that it was an improvement.
Yeah, I mean, I do understand that a little bit. Whenever you change your website, it's a pain. I'm the same kind of guy. You get a new version of software, you have to relearn stuff. That's one thing. And then when we did Poppriceguide, we weren't really ready for it. And the problem with Poppriceguide was that it was built. I don't want to get too technical, but it was built in WordPress and PHP, and it was glued together, and it grows so fast that it took us all our time just to make sure it still stood up. I mean, for example, the old PPG had no pagination. That's okay if you have 20 items. It works with 100 items, but some people have 1,000 or 5,000 items. You just fall over. I mean, if you had a collection on PPG with 5,000 items, it would take 5 minutes to load.
Wow.
And it would take basically that part of the server for 5 minutes. It couldn't do anything else. You really want to load a page in under a second. So we had to just bite the bullet and move over, and it was painful. It always is when we do that, because you change the interface, and in that particular case, we weren't really quite ready.
And it's like you said, if it wasn't for you guys, I mean, Poppriceguide might not be here today, guys. It might be totally gone. And without Hobbydb, we all may be left to the Funko app, and we all know how the Funko app works, and the issues we have at times with the Funko app. And here's Nick saying, thank you for answering all my questions, no matter how dumb they may have been. He's very pleased with Poppriceguide and what you've done for it so far.
Thanks, Nick. I mean, I have to say, I have a blast. I do what I love, right? Every day. My title is actually Collector of Collectors. I don't really like the CEO title. I talk to collectors every day, and there's always something interesting coming out of it. Plus, there's always a feature or an improvement on the site that's coming out of it. That's why there's 507 items on our technology list that we have to do, because there's always some good stuff that's coming out of each of these calls.
What is like the one thing that people want to see, the one request that's on top of all like requests that you guys, is there one thing that's just the big request that people want?
Well, one thing that I'm very excited about is trading. I think trading is going to be exciting. We have a trading concept that we're working on, where at the moment you can sell an item and you can sell it as best offer, which basically means tell me how much money you want to pay me, and I'll send it to you. Trading is where you can reverse it and saying, look, I've got these Funkos that I don't need. What do you have? And that is just going to work. I think that's just going to go back to what collecting is.
Mm-hmm.
Before the internet, that's what happened. People went out to see other people and took a suitcase with them and traded stuff. Now we don't do that anymore, but this kind of brings us back to the spirit. You will meet new people. When we got a call from the Hard Rock Cafe saying we want to close down this database at 60,000 pins, I didn't even know about it, but I learned a lot from that community. They trade a lot and they make friendships around the world. And I think that's going to be fun. So trading is meant to come this year where, this is a way where you can just get more stuff for your collection without having to shell out money, and also without having to do all kinds of tax returns and other stuff.
Yes, because the new tax laws are, I think, are going to hit collectors pretty good. People that love to sell on Whatnot, and eBay, Mercari, whatever.
You have to not document it all, and you have to see how much you paid for it. And so I think you go to Target and you buy 4 pops, and then you put them up for trading, and somebody else will give you something else. But I think that's going to be fun.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It takes me back to, I remember, getting the little binders of sports cards and going to a friend's house, and we'd have a group of us and let's trade this one for that one and these two. That was fun. Fun.
Yeah, and this is going to be the same kind of thing, right? I mean, so basically what he says, here's the 400 items that I'm trading. Somebody will reach out and saying, I want these 3. What do you want? And then you can go through, see what they have. You can do the discussion, the negotiation, and then you do the true transactions. You send the stuff through.
Mummy TV chiming in, he would venture to say that the advances in collecting with PPG Hobbydb far outweigh the tech problems and complaints. I would probably agree with that one.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, you ask, that's greatly appreciated. Thanks very much. I mean, the other thing that we hear is we need to be more mobile friendly, and that's true. We need to be more. We're working on that. We constantly like to add more filters and more features. We also have to make sure it all really works nicely on the mobile.
So that goes, I mean, are you guys, I mean, how many servers are we talking that you guys have? Because I would think the database is unbelievable.
The database is very big. We moved from AWS to Microsoft Azure, and moving the data in the background took 2 months. So yes, it's big. Nowadays you don't have a separate server. You have a cluster of servers that you rent, and you have them in different time zones and so on and so forth. So I think we have our cluster is about 60 servers now. Wow. So there's quite a few of them.
Wow, that's awesome. And I think Mummy TV maybe chimed in a little late. What are the future plans of Hobbydb? I know Christian touched on it before, but I'll let you touch on it again if anyone missed it.
Yeah, so we'd like to do trading this year. I'd like to become more mobile friendly. We like to add much more information to the site and get more volunteers. Our vision is to have 100,000 squad members that manage the site and own it. As I mentioned earlier, 2 years ago, we started opening the capital. There's 1,100 of us now that own the company. So I'd like to do more of that. Those are really the main things. So I like the site to be faster. I like lists to be easier. 2 types of lists. There's the list of the stuff that you have in your collection. You can already build that, but I'd like that to be a little more intuitive and easier. And then there's lists that are just what we call lists of interest, where you can build your own list and then share it with the world, see if they like it. You can see on members, there's a member directory. On members and on subjects. Subjects are things like brands and series and dinners. You can like those. And the new homepage that we want to build for our users, when you logged in, will show you an activity stream of all the new stuff. So new Funko products of the ranges that you like, new things that other people that you follow own, that kind of thing.
So I know this has been really big in the collector community late last year, early this year, and Ryan asked the question, what about NFTs and the collection of NFTs?
We're discussing that a lot, and we've asked we always like to ask the members of what they think. You can see in the PPG, there's always a a poll there on the left-hand side on the homepage. And we do that particularly with our squad members. We have two minds here. You definitely have to document the collectible that came with the NFTs. The NFTs itself, you need to keep them on the side where you bought them to trade them. So I'm not quite sure if we're going to do it, but open to views there. Reach out to me. The same way you can ask us for help, you can also get in touch with me. Again, it's the little I in the top right, and then the green contact Hobbydb button. Just say for Christian. I'd love to hear what you think.
Yeah, NFTs it's an interesting concept. I know I've seen like Whatnot now doing auctions for them, and I've heard there's some issues here and there. It's interesting.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. That's definitely. It will definitely be interesting to see what's happening there.
Yeah, where does it go? Because anyone can create an NFT, and Funko is big into them now, and I'm sure as they get big and the money they make on them, I'm sure it'll continue to other companies that do it as well. How about, is there any I know you've taken in, like the Hard Rock Cafe pins. Is there any other people like that have reached out to, or any kind of collections like that?
Oh yeah, we at the moment we're doing more than 100,000 Roman coins.
Ooh.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting.
Wow.
We're doing gimmicks for cereals. I always forget what that's called. The stuff that you got in Smacks and Kellogg's Cornflakes and so on and so forth. There's a database of 12,000 of those going back to the 50s. And I personally love that. I love everything that's advertising related. So I'm very excited about that. There's a Monopoly database that's coming in, Monopoly games. And there's a bunch of automotive stuff as well. We have this Museum of the World concept where we'd like to get museums to document the collections. There's about 6 that have signed up for that.
Wow.
So there's the American Shelby collection. It's 40,000 objects for Shelby cars. That's going to come in. So there's about 9 or 10 databases at this point of time that are coming in.
Wow, that's insane. Unbelievable. And guys, remember, if you guys want to help out, you guys could be part of the Hobbydb squad. It's very easy, and it's voluntary basis. And, you guys could then add stuff and work on prices, and maybe even climb the ladder in the squad.
Yes, we'd love to have you.
And yeah, I think you get a lot of people with NFTs, no press. Augie, I don't think NFTs are going to go away, especially when, you see Funko sell as many as they do, as quickly as they do. I think it's, unfortunately, NFTs, if you don't like them, they probably will be here to stay. And here we got Nick asking, how about McDonald's toys going back to the 80s? Wow. Some classics there.
We already got a lot. I mean, one of the nice things is, so we took in a Hot Wheels database. That was only Hot Wheels main cars, 25,000, but now we got 50,000 Hot Wheels pages. That includes all of the McDonald's stuff that they did. They did that for 7 years. Same with Lego. So we haven't got all of Lego, but we have lots of Star Wars collectors. So we got most of the Lego Star Wars stuff. And it's the same with McDonald's. So we're getting it here and there, and we'd like to do more. Nick, join us and add the rest of it. That's the idea. The idea is, in the past you would have gone out and created a book and then try to find a publisher, maybe Schiffer, or self-publish it. Now you don't have to do that. Now you can just use Hobbydb as your platform to document what you like. That's what I built it for. I built it for people that like to document what they own, or what they collect, what they're interested in.
And there, guys, soon you can buy from it. Soon you'll be able to trade with it. It'll be its own community within itself. It's a fabulous idea, and a place you guys can build your own full collections of everything that's collectible to you. And then if you get out of it, you easily can trade it or sell it to somebody on the marketplace. It's a one-stop shop.
In fact, we're actually working on a scheme where you can sell your whole collection as a go. Sometimes people just need the money, and selling a collection is hard work. You already documented. I mean, we got this guy who has 25,000 Hard Rock Cafe pins.
Wow.
And he's worried about what happens with them afterwards. So we're building a system where you can reach out to us and say, hey, I want to sell this. We then reach out to 4 or 5 good buyers of collection that we know and saying, hey, here's the collection. Do you want it? Now, if you say you own 2,000 Funko Pops, for example, the person that buys them doesn't have to document them. They're already documented. We digitally move them over to the buyer so they can pay more money for them. That's the idea. It's a closed bid auction. So you say, I want to sell my collection that's here. We'll send an excerpt of that to the 5 buyers. They look at it and saying, I'll give you 52%, 54%, 56%. And then you can choose which one you want to sell to. And that makes for a very, very easy transaction. They pay us, we keep the money in escrow, you ship the stuff over, they say you're happy, we're paying you. Makes that whole part of selling a whole collection so much easier.
Yep. And I think, you look at Cliff saying doesn't want to be a Debbie Downer, but why should I sell on the platform? It's just an option, Cliff, because here you're able to sell, you're able to put your whole collection together and you're curating it. You're like your own little museum curator. And then when you want to sell it, you have that ability to sell it. And I think you look at other places, it's just about selling. You can't hold your whole collection there.
Yeah, there's about 60,000 items for sale on the platform now. There are lots of sales, in particular for Funko. Not only do you show on our marketplace and on our database item pages, the page for that particular Funko Pop, but you also show on the Funko app.
And here we got Cliff. For instance, I recently sold a pop on Whatnot that I originally listed a little over a year ago. It was inexpensive, that sold for $6. If I listed that pop on your platform, I would have to list it for a total of 3 times and would have to lose money on the sale. I mean,
yeah, probably would have cost you $1 to list it, at that price. It would have cost you $1 or so. I don't know the Whatnot charging structure.
But yeah, it's an option for you, Cliff. Every place is different. And Whatnot charges pretty good fees. But yeah, I know a lot of people talk about Whatnot, and hopefully Whatnot, will one day share their information with you, because it seems to be quite the selling platform these days.
It definitely is. I mean, one of the reasons why we've gone the volunteer route, the ownership route. I think it's so much more fun to volunteer for a site when you also own part of it. And that's why I like to see 100,000 people own the site, because then you also want to sell on it. You want it to work, basically.
Yep. You
want it to be always there. That's what we want. I want to make sure that Hobbydb is there when I'm not there anymore. It's meant to be always there. There are certain websites that people just use. IMDb is one of them. Amazon bought it, but it's still IMDb, and it's just what you do. That's actually where our name came from, to an extent. There's Wikipedia. There's just certain websites that people will always go to, and I want Hobby to be one of them.
I think you're definitely on the way, if not already there. Augie, we'll do this. Will be the last question for the night, guys. How would the shipping work for a trade or collection option?
Okay, so 2 questions: trading and collection sale. On the trading side, it would just be like a normal transaction. So let's say, Angie, you and I swap 2 pops. We agree on it, and now there's 2 transactions where I'm shipping you mine. They go automatically in your collection, and you ship me yours, and they go into my collection. Then I can give you feedback, and you can give me feedback. Basically, that's how that's going to work. It's like a sale. It's just there's no money changing hands. And on the collection, you get a certain amount of value for the collection that seller's offering to you. For that, you have to ship it to the address. We tell you that address. You decide if you want to do it. So let's say you get $20,000. You decide if you want to go with it, and then you have to ship them to New York or Chicago or wherever that person is. But you would know that. It's part of the.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to let you take us out, Christian. I thank you for coming. I cannot tell you how much knowledge I have learned in this past week from listening to you on Funner with Parker and Ditto Pops to coming on. And I think everyone in the chat that is here that is going to watch this, the amount of information, it's so much immense. And I think it really just it's opened my eyes to what Hobbydb truly is, and I wasn't totally aware of everything it's capable of. So I thank you for that, and I'm sure everyone here would probably echo that sentiment.
Thanks. Well, I have a blast. So, please join the site. Please join the squad if you want to. Reach out if you have questions, suggestions, ideas. Again, top right on the site.
There you guys go. If you want to be squad members and you guys are passionate about it, I think it's a great idea. It's something I'm probably even going to consider doing, just because it's so great.
Then you can add your shirt. Your T-shirt can be added.
I like it. I like it. On that note, Christian, thank you for coming to join us, guys. Thank you for joining. I hope you got something and learned something today. I did. And yeah, thank you for coming, Christian. I truly do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful, safe week. And I will see you again next Sunday night, guys. Be well. Bye, everyone.
Bye.